Good evening. This is Egypt, and I did a message or a story the other day about Too Salty for Me. That was part one. So I wanted to continue in part two. Part two, I gave it the name A Bad Seed or something like that, but I'm going to change it to something more meaningful for me, actually. Seeds of Incest germinates a bad harvest. I'll say that again. Seeds of incest germinates a bad harvest. I'm going to continue on the story about Lot's and his family. Now, as I went over the other day, of course, God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. I'll just do like a recap, not of the whole story, but just at the ending part. God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. And God, well, actually, before that, God had promised to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, but he wanted Lot and his family to get out of Sodom. So he told them to flee. He sent two angels, told them to flee. They fled, but Lot's wife looked back, as we know, and she became, the Bible says, she became a pillar of salt. So Lot and his two daughters, they went on to the nearby city called Zor. Lot and his two daughters. And so after God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, they stayed there for a little bit, and then Lot got afraid, and he went on, and he ended up in the mountains anyway, because before he was saying, I don't want to go to the mountains because I'm afraid. So once he went to this nearby city, I guess he was afraid of, I don't know, I wasn't there. So he ended up going into the mountain with his daughter. So now it was just his daughters and himself. So, and they went to live in a cave in the mountains. Okay. So I'm going to read Genesis. Okay, before that, hold up. They started thinking dysfunctionally, the two women, Lot's daughters. But before that, I'm going to go back to a similar story. And still in Genesis chapter 9, verse 24, about Noah. Noah had two sons. Now, this is Lot's two daughters. And now I'm talking about Noah's three. He has three sons. Genesis 9, 20-24. And believe me, I'm going to wrap it all together, even though I sound kind of weird right now. But I'm thinking of some memories that's going to take me to a story that I'm going to share with you after I show you what I found that's so relevant. Anyway, Genesis chapter 9, 20-24. And Noah began to be a husband, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of wine like me. That is so funny. Wow. Okay. And he drank of wine and was drunken. But see, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting drunk. And he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Cain, saw the nakedness of his father. First, Noah had three sons. Before I even go there, I'm so sorry. Noah had three sons. His three sons were named. Before that, okay. Of course, everybody know Noah. Noah's ark. He built the ark, and God flooded the earth, and he saved Noah and his family. Now, this is after they're saved, and then they're back on land, and everything's dry, and Noah start planting vineyards, and they're back. So it's just that family that's starting to replenish the earth. So this is after the flood of the world. Noah's ark. I know everybody know that story. And these are his three sons: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then Ham had a son also named Canaan. But anyway, so those are his three sons. So I'm gonna start again. And Noah began to be a husbandman, which means he began to plant seeds and cultivate the ground and everything. Okay. He planted a vineyard, and he drank the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And I'm gonna tell you what uncovered means. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. And now just listen to it closely. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backwards and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backwards, so they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. So there's a lot of speculations in that story. Scholars will argue back and forth what happened to that story, but I'm going to go into the meaning of nakedness. Okay, I'm taking you now to, bear with me, y'all, please. I do have it together. Sometimes it seems like I don't, but I really do. I know what I want to say, and I don't want to miss any points. Okay, first I want to clarify the meaning of that. In Leviticus 20:11, it says, "And the man that lieth with his father's wife has uncovered his father's nakedness. Both of them shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them." The Bible don't play. God don't play. So that's when a son have intercourse with his father's, either the stepmother or the mother. Okay, so that's clarifying nakedness. And this is another one. And see, that happened. Jacob's son, his oldest son, Reuben, he did that. He did that with Reuben's, one of his wives called Bilhah. In Genesis 35:22, it says, "And it came to pass when Israel, when Israel, can't even read my, dwelt in that land, that Reuben went up and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel heard it. Now the sons of Jacob were 12." And they went on to, the sons of Jacob. But Jacob's oldest son had intercourse with his stepmother, and that's considered the same thing. You don't do that. That's so in Leviticus, there's a lot of laws that you're not supposed to do, and they go into deep. So if you want to read that, then it's very interesting. And so you can find it in Leviticus chapter 18, all the different laws, because people are crazy. And they were saying about animals and don't have sex with this person, that person. I mean, that's kind of common sense, but you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. So the story has so many different opinions. So, and then also Leviticus says in 18:6, this is the one I want to clarify. "None of you shall approach to any that is near kin to him to uncover their nakedness. I am the Lord." This is what the Bible is saying. The Bible calls it wickedness. When you uncover somebody's nakedness, that means you're having sex with them. You go in unto them and you're uncovering their nakedness. So it's saying that Noah's son uncovered his father's nakedness and he was drunk. And his two oldest sons walked in backwards and had like a cover so they wouldn't see their father. But he woke up and he realized what his youngest son had did to him, which indicates that he may have been messing with his father while he was drunk. And wow. Okay, so that's why I wanted to just clarify that story that happened in Noah's day. So we're going up, we're still in Genesis, and we're going to go up back into Lot and his daughters now. Okay, so now I'm going to continue with that. So Lot and his daughter, I'm going to read Genesis 9:20 through 24 real quick. Okay. And let you see what went on with Lot and his daughters. Okay, Genesis 9. Okay, I'm going to tie this together. Y'all just bear with me. I mean, this is what it is, okay? I'm trying to tell you, I'm just going to deliver it the way I know how to deliver it, okay? Okay. Genesis 9:20 through 24. Okay. Excuse me, y'all. And Noah. Oh, I did that. Wait a minute. I did that. Okay, that's Noah. Okay, hold on. 19. I'm sorry. Genesis 19. Here we go. I'm right here. Genesis 19:30 to 38. I'm right here. You know what? Wait a minute. Yeah, Genesis 19. I'm tripping, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm with you now. I am. I promise you I am now. Okay. Genesis 19:30 to 38, which says, "And Lot went up out of Zor and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters with him, for he feared to dwell in Zor. And he dwelt in a cave, and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, Our father is old, and there is not a man in the earth to come in unto us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, Behold, I lay yesternight with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go thou in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger rose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus they both thus Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab. The same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Benjamin. And the same is the father of the children of Amnon until this day. Okay, both of them, when they were in the cave, they start thinking, look, there's no men around. Our husband got burnt up in Sodom, Gomorrah. Our father's old. We don't have any kids. We're virgins. Okay, our lineage is going to stop here. So what they decided to do was get their father drunk, have sex with him, have a kid from him. So that means their lineage can keep going on. That's what their thinking was, okay? So they started thinking, so that was so dysfunctional. So I want to tell you that the Benjamins this meaning of the name is child of incest. It means son of my people. And he's the child. It also means the child of incest. And they come from the Ammonites lineage. And the Moabites, of course, come from Moab. That's the first name. That's what one of their daughters' name was, Moab. The second daughter's name of their son, Benami. And they came out of the, because he had a son named Amnon. Ammonites. These names in the Bible is so challenging. Ammonites. So that's where the Ammonites came from, and that's where the Moabites came from. And they were always warring against the children of Israel. So you see how a bad seed can germinate into a harvest, because now that just like David and Bathsheba, when that wasn't incest, but when David went in unto Bathsheba and had a baby out of sin, killed the husband and everything. I told that story. God had to not let that baby survive, because that baby was perceived out of straight up sin and evil. And then he had the father killed and everything, trying to make it seem like he wanted people to think it was the father's baby. He had him killed in the front line. It was bad. That first baby had to die. The second baby, which was Solomon, God blessed that baby, and that baby lived. So I'm saying sometimes family lines come out from the ancestors are so evil, and then we wonder why. Well, I wonder why. Sometimes people are so evil in their hearts, and they do certain things, like Hitler, for instance. Where in the world was his mind, his lineage from way back in the day, for him to have such an evil heart for genocide like that? That was crazy. And see, these were Jewish people. So you never know from back in the day where Hitler came from, what line of evil, what seed he came from, what lineage he came from. Okay, so it's just amazing. Like this is, in Color Purple, when Sophia said, girl child ain't safe with the family men. It's not just the girl child. The boys, even the fathers. Now, usually incest is when the parents have sex with the children, but they really molested their parents. Here's Noah, and his sons molested him, And then Lot's daughters molested him, but they both had them drunk with wine. But what I can't really understand is, like, Noah, sorry, not Noah, well, both of them, but Lot, when he realized that he had sex with his daughter the first night, then he went to the youngest the second night. I mean, didn't he know what was going on? But then again, they said my father's old, and it did say they made him drink it. So who knows what went on? I wasn't there, so we don't really know. But that leads me to a really crazy. Let me say. Oh, let me tell you too. In Moab, it's ancient Philistine. That's the location in the Middle East. It's near the Dead Sea. It's near the Dead Sea where Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. And that's why the Amorites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, all of them came from bad seed. I don't know if all of them came from incest, but they came from from evil seeds when people had babies. That's why when God would tell his David and people of war, the men of war, the noble men of war, when he said, kill up everybody, don't leave anybody, not even cat, the dog, kill up the whole lineage, the whole generation. That's why he would say to do that, because if you leave one behind, that one particular person that grow up will become a problem child and make everything bad for the other people, the people that are good, the people that God is trying to raise up. So that's when he said, destroy this people. That's why he was so angry with Saul and, took the kingdom, because he said, I told you to destroy them. The Amorites destroy everybody. You're going to leave the king alive, and then you're going to leave the animals. It's very disobedient. So this leads me to a personal story of mine, how incest germinates a bad harvest. And I thought about it, and wow, it saddens me. I had a best friend. She's passed away. God bless her soul. God bless her soul. She died from full-blown AIDS. Okay. When we were in a best friend from third grade, thick as thieves. Sometimes I ran away from home. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I ran away from home, and she would run away from home too. Wasn't nothing going on with her family. She just ran away from home so I wouldn't be by myself out there. I mean, that's friend. Thick as anyway, growing up, her father, not her stepfather, her full-fledged father, was messing with her since she was 12. So from 12 to in her 20s, her father messed with her. I was the only one she told. And I used to tell her, why don't you tell? She was so scared to tell. Not just messing with her, molesting her. He was having sex with her. She was 12, from 12 to like 28. When she turned like 25 or something like that, she confessed to me. She was like, you know what? I'm having, now, this is a grown-up conversation. So if you have any teenagers and stuff that's younger, please, don't let them deal with this conversation, because I'm getting ready to get raw right about here, right about now. She said, you know what? Okay, Gene, I'm not gonna do the name. Okay, anyway, she said first of all, she used to tell me, can you please come over, because I don't feel like being bothered. He want to come over and stuff. And she used to give her money. She never worked in her life. She was on social service, on welfare. She had 2 sons. And her father would come and just give her money. She'd pay her bills and stuff. And she never ever worked. She just never got it together. She started smoking crack at one time. She just went through so much because this man was messing with her from 12. Her mother never knew. Her mother never ever knew. She moved down south and never knew. But anyway, she would say, can you come over, because he wants to come over and I don't want to be bothered. So I would come over to block. You know how they call it, blocking. I would block it. So when I was there, when he would get there and I was there, he couldn't do nothing because I was there. So I would stay and linger. And I know he would want me to leave. So I would just stay and act like I'm going to be there. And then he would go. But a lot of times he would come over and give her money and stuff. And she would go to his job and get money. She would have sex. She told me she started having orgasms when she would have sex with him. So I said, look, that means you are enjoying it. There's no way in the world. He's not molesting you anymore. Y'all having straight up sex. that is your straight father. That's not stepfather. That's somebody who had sex with your mother and had you. It looked just alike. And so I said, you're liking it. That's not, it don't seem to be, I mean, what's going on with you? But since 12. So God knows what's happened in her psyche. So anyway, so when she had a baby, she started being promiscuous. I mean, straight up hoe. Straight up hoe. I withdrew a little bit because when we would go places, they would look at her. She would be with certain people. One time we went in the club and this guy approached her and they, what's up? What's up? She was like, she cussed him out. She was like, you gave me crabs and all this. She just blew him out of the water all in front of everybody. But she was very promiscuous. Okay, when she had a baby, I was explaining to her, breastfeeding is very healthy and everything for the baby, and you should breastfeed and all that. So she started breastfeeding. She breastfed until her son was 5 years old. Me and her would be talking sometime, and he would just run up to her, lift her shirt up, put his head under her shirt, and breastfeed. And I was like, you know what? That, I don't know. That's dysfunction right there. Something ain't right with that one. But she was like, well, you told me to breastfeed. I said, yeah, breastfeed, but not till he walking and talking and running around and driving cars and all that. And you still breastfeeding. But anyway, she breastfed so long. I mean, he was up like, I think till about 7 is when she stopped. This part right here, wow. This part right here is real crazy. I forgot to tell you about this part. Her second son she had. Okay, when he was a baby, he would cry and cry. She would take his pamper off and manipulate his little penis with her mouth. She would do that. In other words, give him oral sex. A baby with pampers. And I said, I almost said her name, but I don't want to say her name because I don't want to tarnish, because that was my best friend, but she's dead and gone now. But I was like, you need some help. You need some help. And she was like, well, he keeps crying. I don't know how to stop him from crying. So when I do that, he'll stop crying. I said, well, anybody will stop crying if you did that to them. Anybody who's crying, you do that to them, they'll stop crying. I said, but that's a baby, you need help. She said, but it soothes him. I said, that would soothe anybody. So I just was so worried about her because it was so dysfunctional. It was so wrong. But that's because her dad messed with her from 12 on up until she was like almost 30. And that's all she knew. Her sons, very sexual, very looking at women. I mean, they were like 13, 14, be looking at me sideways. That's because it just transferred from one generation to the next. So it was just terrible. So she never stopped. She kept going, never worked. And then finally she contracted AIDS from being so promiscuous. And it was just bad. Over the years, she got on crack. She just went through so much, but I stayed her friend because I wasn't going to judge her. And then finally, her father had a heart attack. He was walking his dog. He had a heart attack. And she had HIV at the time, but she didn't, she wasn't sick. Once he got sick, because I think she fell in love with him. I think she did. They have there's a name for that. I don't know. I forget. But when he had a heart attack and died, she went in the bed. She just got so depressed. She went in the bed, lay down, and never got up. She just stayed there. And when she got depressed, when she just got in the bed and just stayed, wouldn't get up, wouldn't cook, wouldn't do anything, wouldn't clean the house, that's when the full-blown AIDS manifests itself. Because before that, she was fine. She was up. Her T cells were good. She was taking the medication, all that. But once he died, she got sick in her head. I mean, something in her snapped. And she just laid and just let the age just manifest itself. And she laid it. And then when she tried to get up, she couldn't. Her legs turned into like heaviness. She could not get up because she just laid in the bed so long. So it's just a sad story. She never worked in her life. She never was married. She had the 2 boys, promiscuous, died from AIDS. Her father molested her for years and years and years. She never told. So what I'm saying, this story. That's why in Ecclesiastic it says, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing, anything that can happen in this Bible is happening now. So I'm saying that to say that with Lot and his family, it turned into something else, even though they started out righteous, but his daughters got twisted in their mind. And it's like, okay, let's do this with our dad so we can continue on our line. But it ended up being bad. They end up going up against God, going up against the children of Israel. So you never know why people do what they do. You never know what their ancestors did or how they came about to the evil that's in their heart. And so with my best friend, I mean, thick as thieves, would do anything. Her mind was so twisted because her father dealt with her. So what I'm saying to anybody that's happening to you, or if you're a product of incest, this is a real serious topic. Tell. If you're young, tell. Tell somebody. She swore me to secrecy. We were all young. She swore me to secrecy. But I used to tell her, how could you even tell me this stuff you telling me? She was like, girl, I got to tell somebody. She was like, I don't know what to do, but you my best friend. I got to tell somebody. I just can't keep this. So I was sworn to secrecy. And this is the first time she's been 59, 60, 47, 57, 60. She's been dead like 23 years. And I feel telling her story is relevant because her story may save somebody else from going through what she went through. She never got her life together. Never did. Never even had a job. Never had a real boyfriend. Never had a husband. Had the 2 children. Just never had a real fulfilling, enriched life. Stayed on welfare her whole life. And then her sons took over the apartment. So they're on her housing. They took over her apartment. So they never really, I don't know what they're doing now. But what I'm saying to you, if you know somebody that's going through incest, if you know somebody that's in any type, form, or fashion, incest or any kind of molestation, any kind of messing with the kids, or messing with anybody that's unnatural, tell somebody, because people will listen. And I really hope this story, this situation, because nothing is new under the sun, will help somebody. And I felt compelled to share her story because it's real and it's real life. It's nothing that anybody made up. Just like in this Bible, these stories are not made up. So I wanted to share that with you, and I hope somebody got something out of it. And it just brought back so many hard memories, and saddens me because had I don't know, I'm thinking maybe I could have did more. I could have told somebody, but who was I going to tell? Who was I going to tell? I didn't know, but I just was there for her. I was there for her, but it still didn't help because she still passed away from AIDS. So again, I hope this story helps someone that you know or may be happening to you. Reach out to somebody. You don't have to live your life somebody messing with you unnatural. That's so unnatural. And you deserve to have a fulfilled life, a healthy life with a healthy mindset. You deserve it, and your children deserve it, and your children's children deserve it. So you can share this story. And I have podcasts too. I'm just now starting the videos, but I have podcasts too. It's still way beyond me. And if you want to check those out, you can. Wherever you find your podcast, I'm probably on there, and I think Spotify and different platforms, you can find me there. So y'all have a blessed day, and thank you for listening. I know I started all kind of rambling, but this is how I do it, Y'all have a blessed day. I love you, and I'll be back with another video. These topics are real. What I'm hitting on real stuff, really. I mean that, and hopefully hopefully it'll save a life, save somebody from going through some psychological craziness, because there's a lot of mental illness out here, and there's a lot of dysfunction out here. So again, y'all have a blessed day. Thank you so much for listening. I love you, and take care.